Well, hello everybody. I know I promised you a video, but due to technical difficulties occurring between my camera and my computer, I can't really edit them. Of course, this is when I realized that after playing around the computer for about 4 or 5 hours, I looked at my screen and discovered I had an inbuilt webcam. Genius I am not. So, I abandoned the camera until further notice, and I'm using my laptop to tell you what's happened so far. It is now officially Christmas Eve. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I figured I might as well update you guys. I am currently in the hostel with a very cool background behind me. So let's get started. Sydney. Thank God we got out of it. Insane. Horrible. Not liking. Just too busy. However, the drive from Sydney to Canberra, beautiful, heart pumping, and kind of finally got me into the Australia I wanted to see. Lots of pictures from that. Unfortunately, don't have time to input them. This is a short Christmas video. Last minute. You kind of get the idea. Next. We've had a lot of fire ban issues. We haven't had any campfires this summer. It's pretty much a solid fire ban from November 1st to April 30th. So as you can guess, kind of unhappy about that, but at the same time, when I heard about the Victoria fires last year, I can understand that. Next, I can surf. Really fun. Riot. Great fun. It's really weird when you catch a wave the first time. In fact, the first time I bought a used surfboard, I went out to surfing the first time. I was actually surfing beside a surf school, and by the end of the day, I was the only one from the surf school who could surf. Ironic? Not really, but kind of funny still to say. Well, let's see. Where should I go from here? Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back now. Let's see, we went to Melbourne, and our first experience in Melbourne wasn't very nice. We drove into Melbourne, expecting to stay in about 2 days, catch a ferry, and then go head over to Tasmania. Unfortunately, the ferry was booked solid for a week, and we decided instead of hanging around Melbourne for a solid week, we would go to the Great Ocean Road. Of course, it took us 3 hours to get out of the city, in which we did wasn't easy. Hell of a drive, nightmare, rush hour, made Edmonton look good. It just was not a fun drive. Our first impressions of Melbourne, not likable. So the Great Ocean Road, one word, it was great, but it's the first time I surfed, which was quite a good thing. I'll say that. I'll give the Great Ocean Road that. It had some pretty good scenes, but the Great Ocean Road just was not what I wanted. Did not live up to expectations. Sorry. Cool, but not cool enough. The Grampians, these mountain ranges kind of came out of nowhere. Driving across flat plain, all of a sudden, mountains. No snow, lots of trees, red hills. Time to climb to the summit of Mount William, which was cool. But really cold that night. There was actually frost on the windshield in the morning when we woke up. Of course, compared to what you guys are getting now, imagine it's nothing. But anyway, cool. Very cool. Our return to Melbourne for the ferry the next week wasn't nearly as bad. We came in to a different route that actually was straight. We avoided all the toll roads, which was nice because that would have been a $14 ticket to use the toll roads. But we got in there. We found a great hostel that had free parking, which was even better. So the next day we hit up the market and spent the day at the market. That evening, jumped on the ferry to Tasmania, slept on the ferry, arrived in Tasmania, cloudy weather, rained for 2 weeks straight, or 2 weeks that we were in Tasmania pretty much. I think I would have liked Tasmania a lot more if it hadn't rained so much. I mean, there were some wonderful views, some great mountains, some cool people, but it just rained too much. I wasn't prepared for the rain. It was cold at night. Yeah. Tasmania, too much rain. Because apparently the week before we got there, it was a heat wave. The week after we got there, it was also a heat wave. I don't know if I should take it as a personal insult or just the way it is. Anyway, our return trip to Melbourne on the ferry we caught back at Devonport. I met a certain individual, which you probably read about my blogs. She was fun. Nice to have some company for a while. Anyway, spent the next 2 days in Melbourne, picked up our new mascot, which you guys have probably seen before, which is Matilda. Yeah, let's see if I put it against a different background. There we go. That is Matilda. Apparently, when Dad heard that we had a third official teammate, he was making room in the house. Way to go, Dad. Next, we went to... Since we did the Great Ocean Road, we left Melbourne, and it was a much easier drive out again. And we went up along the Murray River. Now, the Murray River actually is a really cool area, and actually I like the Murray River a lot better than the Great Ocean Road because it felt more like home, and it wasn't raining solidly. But Great Ocean Road, no. Murray River, very cool. I mean, I read a lot about the Murray River too, and it had some old steam paddlers on it, and we had good camping there, met some cool people, we partied late one night. Oh, and there's also the car. A certain seal went on the engine, which sprayed oil everywhere, which destroyed the harmonic balancer in the car, and we ended up stopping beside an Olive Grove, not an Olive Grove, and a peanut grove, I think, some kind of nut grove. Anyway, and then we were saved by a mechanic named Mick, who offered us his house for a couple days while we did our car. He just, gave us tools and said, anything you don't know how to do, I'll help you with. Everything else, go for it. Which was great because it felt like I was home again. I was working on something. It felt like I was actually doing something instead of just being a schmuck tourist. Boy, this music getting long. Anyway, I loved the Murray River for the people, for the area, for the weather. I just liked the Murray River. The Murray River I really did like. Which gets us into today, or the last 2 days where we spent in the Adelaide Hills outside of, Adelaide. Hills, vineyards, wineries, kind of like the Okanagan Valley. Actually, all the streets like the Okanagan Valley, hot, dry, and humid. Well, not a lot of humid, just hot and dry. A lot of brown. Next we have... And then today we arrived in Adelaide. We also got free parking, and Adelaide is actually a lot like Edmonton. It's a warmer version of Edmonton. It's all grid. And it doesn't feel too chaotic, it doesn't feel too crowded, it doesn't feel too... Got lots of parkland around the city center. It felt like a well-designed city. And that brings us up to Christmas. And apparently there's supposed to be a cyclone tomorrow. Yay. Anyway, Merry Christmas, and I will see you later.